I tried to change this thing so I could just ramble on. Maybe it's a good thing it does shut me down 30 minutes. Okay, so unless you are a bar, a union card carrying member, somebody with a degree that ascribes or is a part of the legal society, you have no, I was going to say no right, well, you have no right to partake in legal matters. This is why, you know, lack of a better word, but let's say lawyers and attorneys, solicitors, this is why they are licensed. They are licensed because they are part of the legal society, and so what they can do is they can take a man or a woman and represent them into the legal society. Okay? And this is why you can't, and this is why they have funny nicknames, like pro se. You know, self-litigant. Hey man, I don't even know what self-litigant means. And I don't wish to be seen as self-litigant. I don't wish to be degraded with such a title. I don't wish to accept that title. Now, if there's an issue between one, and it cannot be resolved peaceably on the street, this is why we have these public court buildings, so that this one and this one can go into court, and they can play their best game on the court within that public building, within a public venue, for all to watch, nothing in secret. So that's the other thing. None of this stuff can be done in secret. If it's done in secret, it's not lawful, man. It may be some kind of legal loophole, but it's definitely not lawful. You know, this is what worries me about their frickin', you know, their terrorism crap. Now, I can see certain things for you know, for security of the nation. But at the same time, unless it's directly the security of the nation, everything needs to be public, because the public has a right. And everyone is part of the public if we wish to enter the public. And being forced to be seen as public when you wish to be let alone within your own private domestic jurisdiction, within your own private cubicle, within your own private thoughts, is just an attack on mankind. So, okay, this is my belief, all right? This is my belief. I'm not telling anybody what they should or shouldn't do. I'm not telling anybody what they should believe. But what I wish to convey is that others can see what I believe, right? And because if you can see what someone believes, then you can start gurgitating on it, or regurgitate on it, and then you can start to see where the other one is coming from. And I think because you know, there's a lack of communication, and the attack on free speech, which keeps the communication down, we are unable to have the conversation, to see what another sees, to see what someone else sees, right? And this is the main number one attack on everyone on this land, and no one should back off from free speech. They can have their pseudo whatever it is human rights, but I'm not a human. I am man of mankind. You cannot take my freedom of conscience, my thought. Otherwise I won't exist. And maybe that's what they wish. Annihilate mankind. Only have people kind, and then you can be one of the people. Or you can be you people. Hey, become one of you people? Is that their thing? And everyone becomes you people? Now nobody can be offended because I am now you people. Nah, that's not the person I wish to be. And so as long as slavery is outlawed on this land, then I do not wish to act as that person. As a matter of fact, and I'm gonna start to show you guys how to write a proper letter to Bobby, Sue, John, Billy Bob, whatever, who acts as blah blah blah. Okay, because every man has a duty, and I'm saying all of mankind have a duty, responsibility, and obligation to their fellow man. Period. That is the law. That is the law. Now, legally, the legal society can't see man. Why? Because we're of the third dimension. That's like, can you see the 11th dimension, you know? Scientists say they figured out there's 11 dimensions. Can you even see the fourth dimension? Of course not, because you're three-dimensional. Right? The body. We are three-dimensional. So the makeup of a man. Now, this is my belief. But man has a soul, a spirit, and a body. Very practical. Very practical. All right? There's a law on this planet, and it's the law of carbon. If this is a carbon-based planet, and if it doesn't come from this planet, it can't operate on it. If it's not carbon-based, okay, maybe there are carbon-based folks in many, many light years from here, they could operate. But on this planet, to operate on this planet, your body is carbon-based. It's the law of the land, right? Okay, it's the law of the water too. And so this is our vehicle, the body is our vehicle, and this is to which we enact. Now the body can't act without the spirit. Now the spirit is the life force, and there's been many, many science, papers and things written that the spirit is basically an energy. Like without that energy, the body dies, and they've been able to measure, spiritual, like mankind's spirit and stuff, by the basically the electricity going through us. My granny, or my nanny, my Irish nanny, she couldn't wear self-wind-up watches or anything because she had so much electricity going through her body, it just screwed them right up. And I'm sure lots of people have heard about that. You people, right? So the spirit, which is the energy force that the body is able to operate. Okay, this is what gives me the energy to walk back and forth. This is what gives me the energy to pick things up. Now the soul. Now I've had conversations with a few people. People love to argue with me about the soul, but this is what I believe, and I will stand and I will argue with anybody about the soul. There we go again. Isn't that crazy? It's supposed to be a dry rub thing, and it never rubs. Yeah, not since day one. I even bought more markers for it. I went down to the office supply place, got more markers for it. Still doesn't rub. It's just like, well, why'd you sell it to me for? And of course, because this is supposed to be a dry one, you're not supposed to squirt it. The dry rub ink with the dry rub. Yeah, BS. Probably made in China. Hey, you know what they say in China? Rasa ruck round eye. So, but pretty soon, you people will not be able to manufacture, create anything on this land. Unless, of course, you can afford to buy off the establishment. Only if you can afford to buy off the establishment. Then they'll find some kind of excuse, and you know, it's like you know, I'm not hacking on Quebec. I mean, they're just smarter than the rest of us. Yeah, I know. Hate me all you want, caucaphobes. But they're just smarter than the rest of us. You know, they that huge hydro dam that they got off the Newfies cheap. They were smart there. They got this huge lease on it, and you know, our Newfoundland cousins have tried taking them to court to get it back and whatever, and of course they can't, right? Because the deal's a deal. So when they you know, as Alberta ships all its energy money over to Ottawa so they can get it over to Quebec and everybody else that buys Arab and U.S. oil. So, are we the dumbest? We are the dumbest nation on the frickin' face of the earth. We are designed to just totally fracture and separate, explode. Which is one of the reasons I'm doing this now. And getting, I know I don't look that serious at this moment, but am getting serious about it. At least I can bring us together. Like anybody that has this much intestinal fortitude, you know, that can take a little heat, can stand, and believe me, if you wish to stand as a woman or stand as a man, you will be passed through the fire. And you're either going to get burnt or you're going to be refined as the finest gold. But anyways, you know, like even Quebec was smart enough not to say, "Whoa, no, our hydroelectric dam, oh, no, we can't share in that. No, that's our money," right? See, they're smarter. You know, I'll just rant about this for a couple minutes, but you know, I've been warning people, okay, with this whole Wexit thing, right, in Alberta, and my kid doesn't want to hear it. No constitution, no standing. You guys can bitch all day long. Bitch for the next 10 years. You have nothing. You have nothing. You are a junior corporation of the corporate body. All you are plaintiffs. Plaintiff is a French word. Drop one F. It's a nagging, bitching old hag. And that's all Wexit's ever going to be until a constitution is established and recognized and voted on by the grassroots folks of Alberta. And another one voted on by the grassworks of the land. You are of this land. And so when you vote on something, that is the law of the land. We have the only law of the land we have at this time is the common law. And I'm not talking about English common law precedents at court. Okay, that's the legal. That's the English common law. I'm talking about the common law of everyone has a right. Everyone has a right. Okay? And there are certain rights that a man or mankind can write about. It's the keeping of the common law and the customs of the people. That is the law of this land. Alright, what the hell? Oh yeah, so Quebec's smarter than we are. Yeah, of course they are. They get to keep all their coin. that they make off of their hydro. They only have to pay a pittance for the hydro to our Newfoundland cousins. You know, like they are their own nation. They recognize themselves as a nation. They have a national assembly. You know, what do we have? We have a bunch of plaintiffs in the West. Plaintiffs in Ontario, plaintiffs in Manitoba. Well, Manitoba you don't hear much about. I think Manitoba sits on the fence quite a bit, you know. But you know, plaintiffs in Saskatchewan, plaintiffs in Alberta, and huge Caucaphobia on the West Coast. Huge. It's crazy. All right, so getting back down to it, yeah, until everybody gets serious about getting a constitution, forget about the rest of it. It's all bells and whistles. And and you know, I was warning people about the infiltrators, okay, the ne'er-do-wells that will infiltrate the whole Wexit thing, and you know, like there's this one guy that was running for the PPC. He seems like an okay guy, whatever. Right? He always did politician from a car, you know? And yeah, I do man from a truck. Man from property within my own private cubicle. But he was doing this stupid politician from a car thing. Well, he's going on, oh, you got to worry about Treaty this, Treaty 8. Everybody's saying, well, thank you for having us on Treaty 6. You guys, you're getting off the narrative already. The whole treaty system is federal. You know, and whatever those of mankind did sign for treaties, and I'm sure they were screwed. I'm not denying that. But those of our fellow man that were here prior, you know, say to the Vikings and the Chinese and our voyageurs, our pioneers, and our settlers, they have a treaty with the establishment. Okay, they have a treaty with the corporate body politic. So, like, stay on course. Look, you get, and you're going to get a lot of heat for this, but you get this Constitution in. Get it rolling. Concentrate only on the Constitution for now. And once everyone from Alberta has a Constitution, a grassroots, it applies to everyone. You know, unless you do not wish to be seen as an Albertan. And what are you saying now? Okay, let's say Alberta has a Constitution. All right, grassroots, everybody voted on it. 99.99 natives, everybody voted on it. Okay, so now everyone has standing through that Constitution because it was of, by, and for. All right? It's a document that was erected up from the land. Okay? Not forced down by some corporate body to step on your head with. It was erected. All right? And so now everyone has a document from this land that holds up the nation. And this is not in the demise of anybody. And I realize the Native guys wish to have everything back that they believe they once had. But that is their fight. And that's what these folks believe. And I respect them for it. But it's not my fight. In the meantime, and one thing that can unite our Native cousins with even those persons that have caucaphobia and those of mankind, the one thing that can bring us together is then we have a established standing for everyone within the metes and bounds of Alberta. Alberta has no meets and bounds right now. But at least then everyone has a standing. Our native cousins will not lose any standing as an original, as the inherited, say, peoples. I hate using that word, but the inherited folks of the land of their area. I mean, they can't lose that. They come from this land. Well, I come from this land too. It's not my fault that everything changed 500 years ago. Did I go to God before I was born and say, yo, I got to be born on that land just so I can piss off those other folks? No. No, the corporate body was coming through. And if you think that the monarchy, of England was bad, you take a look at how the Spanish and the natives, what happened there. Take a look at Portugal and the natives, what happened there. Take a look at the Dutch and the French with the natives and see what happened there. It ain't good. It ain't good. And I think, as I've said before, I mean, Canada ended, or we as Canadians, ended slavery 40 years before the British did. We were probably the shining star of the free world of the day, saying, look what Canada did. Look what Canada did. There is no slavery, no black slavery, no native slavery. Now, how the establishment dealt with our natives, our native cousins, I'm not cool with it. I'm not cool with it. But right now, I'm not cool with the establishment as it is either, and the attack on everyone's free speech. Everyone's free speech. Hey, so the soul, so I was talking about soul, spirit, and body. So you have a body, right? There's a law on this planet, and it's if this is a carbon-based planet, and so like all bodies, whether you're a tree, I was a tadpole once swimming in the sea. Then I was a monkey swinging in a tree. Now I'm a professor with a PhD. Even if I'm one of those, I have a carbon-based body. All right? I thought it went off. I heard something. Fandangle technology. Anyways, so our bodies do. Now, what gives my body energy is my spirit. Okay, and there's been a lot of controversy over spiritual stuff, but we have an energy force within our body, and that's what allows us to live. And so, when we pass over, okay, when we leave this body, then this body can't operate anymore. We call it death. All right? It's the death of the body. So that brings us to soul. Now, this is my belief again. Okay, so soul. All right? The mind, your will, and emotions. Now, somebody with a weak mind, okay, weak mind, but strong emotions, is very emotional. When somebody, unless they have the will to overcome their emotions and recognize the fact that they are weak-minded. You see, now these three, when they are in agreement, we become whole. Right? Now our minds can be destroyed from all kinds of shit. Drugs and alcohol, Communist Broadcasting Corporation really rots your brain. Indoctrination, um, you know, of like these cults that are going on right now to cause you to believe that you have to have caucaphobia, cause you to believe that hatred is the higher standing. You know, because I vehemently hate so much, I have the right to my righteous indignation over you. And that's all I see going on. Now there's I'm giving up the frickin' politics, because I am going to start teaching how to properly write a letter to your fellow man or fellow woman who does act as a public servant. All right? Now, so if you have your mind, your will, and your emotions, if you got 33 and a third, I know it's not metric, but if 33 and 33.33333. Anyways, when we balance, when we get balanced, or when we are balanced, then you are, or everyone becomes very strong. Have you ever met a man or a woman of small stature physically that was very strong? You know, that's probably because of the balance, right? Like, have you ever met a freak? Okay, that's probably because of the imbalance. Like when the, you know, not so much that like goofy looking dude in the stupid T-shirt that probably knows nothing about our natives. You know, he had this thing about Indian children matter or something. He probably absolutely, I bet he knows nothing about our native cousins here. I bet you $1 to a donut that man has never spent any time on the reserve, has never ever, or prisoner of war camp as I like to call him, has never really associated at all, and wouldn't even understand those folks. But that's not the guy I want to talk about. That freaky chick, okay? That person I want to talk about. The position she maintained in front of that little old lady, and just screaming at the top of her lungs. Very unstable. Very unstable. Probably weak-willed and weak-minded. And very emotional. Now, in my belief, okay, what I believe to be true, okay, is or believe is the truth about our souls is that it is made up of our mind, our will, and our emotions. And as our minds get damaged, now they get damaged for many, many reasons. Trauma, okay? Trauma can take away from one's will. You know, like, trauma hits in many, many ways. I mean, look at our veterans. You know, we call it PTSD. You know, I still know it as shell shock. You know, it's what I grew up with, you know, identifying it as. But, you know, the will to live because of trauma. And trauma, I believe, is a doorway to the soul that opens the doors for us to be attacked as anyone, as someone, as one, and so, like, you know, depression. You know, I believe depression is a spiritual force, like, honestly, and you know, depression can come through